Okay, let's roll right into our race winner for tonight's second annual Quaker State 400 here at Kentucky Speedway. And winning for the third time this season in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, which leads all competitors, is Brad Keselowski. He drives the number 2 Miller Lite Dodge for Penske Racing. Brad, congratulations on this victory. Again, you wanted all 3. But like you just said, you're glad you got this one, and getting 3 wins now really got to be a big boost for you as we head down the stretch run.
Yeah, you know, I wanted all 3, but sometimes that ain't meant to happen. But I was proud of the effort we put in all week long in the heat with all 3 teams, Truck Series team, Nationwide team, 2nd, 7th, and a 1st. Ain't bad at all. Who would have figured my best finish would have came in the hardest race? But you know, that just shows the importance of teamwork. And the group of guys that I have on this Miller Lite Dodge, they're badasses. There they are. They're just badasses, man. I'll tell you what. They've put together a backup car from last year in the 100-degree heat in an hour's time. Got it on the race. Not even an hour. I think it was like 40 minutes. I wish I had a stopwatch for that. Got it on the racetrack and got to run our laps for practice to make the adjustments we needed to be fast today. And that's what badasses do. And that's what got us to victory lane today, and I'm proud of these guys for it, man. I'm proud of them. Damn proud of them. So I think that sums it up.
Couldn't have said it any better. Crew Chief Paul Wolfe is here. Paul, congratulations. Brad was just commenting on
how big of a badass you are, man.
I don't know. All I heard was Bad Brad was back this weekend, so I don't know if that's good or bad.
We'll take him.
Well, I called you a badass, and if I'm bad, that makes us all bad.
Okay. But maybe talk about some of the things you all had to overcome this weekend, obviously, and then maybe some of the things that you had to do to the race car to get it where it was racing so well here tonight, and then also the fact you got 3 wins now. That leads all Sprint Cup Series drivers. We've got 9 races to go now before we go to Richmond.
Teams, man, teams. We're a team.
I know you are, but okay. But anyhow, talk about these things and what you were able to accomplish tonight.
Well, it was probably the toughest weekend as a team that we've ever had up to this point. You know, not only did we have, you know, obviously the really high temperatures and but having trouble the first lap on the racetrack always sets you back. And one thing about all the guys on the Miller Lite team is it seems like we're able to find another level to work when it comes to adversity. You know, and I think you see that with the driver as well as you look back to last summer when Bad Brad had a broken foot, and we were able to take that. And I don't know if he thrives off of that or what, but it seems like when some people might think we're down and out, we're able to find a whole nother level to compete and you know, find ourselves in victory lane. So just says a lot about everybody on the team, and you know, some of the things we do back at Penske Racing, the processes we go through to build our cars, and knowing that when we bring out a backup car, there really wasn't any concerns for me. The biggest thing was there was just a lot of work to do with changing the engine and you know, not being able to have all the practice time that everybody else had. But I knew the car we had was still capable of winning. So it says a lot about that. And you know, for us, we just need to continue to work hard. I think there's a lot of good racetracks coming up for us, and you know, we're definitely up for the challenge. I think we showed that tonight.
Questions for Paul or Brad? Let's go to the press box first, then we'll come downstairs and we'll get Jim Utter. Let's go press box and then come downstairs. Utter, Bob, Tom, Joe. Go ahead, press box.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Paul, you said that this was the hardest, I guess it was the hardest we had to work yet, and we did a great job. I mean, can you just talk about the resolve of your team and the heart that your driver has? Because he accepted responsibility for what happened on the track, and he was in there working furiously with you, and isn't that what makes a team?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, there were some choices we could have made, and some things we could have done that maybe would have been a little easier on everybody as far as you know, changing the engine. We didn't have to do that. We did it because we knew if we did that, that was directionally, that was going to make our race car better. And there's no one on the team that would ever question, you know, anything we want to do. changes we want to make, they all just seem to work hard. And like I said, there was points on the day Friday where some of the guys looked like they were about ready to flap out. But nobody checked up. We continued to work hard. We were able to get our car in the inspection line in time to get our qualifying spot, which allowed us to start where we were versus starting in the back of the field.
Questions, press box, go ahead.
Spencer with the NASCAR Wire Service. For both of you guys, congratulations. Brad, you said after the race that there's no looking back at this point, that all you need to do is look ahead. Does looking ahead mean going all out for wins in the next 9 races, or does it mean maybe being a bit more conservative to make sure you're in the top 10 and you can use all those bonus points?
Well, I think looking ahead means trying to make sure we just stay in the top 10. And I think y'all got the points backwards. You look at who's leading with most points earned. That don't mean anything. The only thing that means anything is where it's going to restart when the chase is going, when it starts. And that's going to be based off of who's in the top 10 and who's got the most wins. That's the only thing that matters. And that's where my heart's at. And that's what I want. I want to be the guy with the most wins and inside the top 10. And I want to look forward into making sure that we stay inside the top 10 and hopefully can climb up a few more spots to be safe. But the wins and being in the top 10, that's all that matters.
Go ahead, press box.
Hi, Kevin Kelly from the Cincinnati Enquirer for Paul or Brad. Made your last pit stop on lap, you had 59 laps left before the rest of the race. How were you able to stretch your fuel that long? Were there any things that you did in the car to make it last that long?
Go ahead, Paul.
All right. I feel like talking tonight. Well, I think, one thing to point out is, everybody's worked really hard on this EFI project at Penske Engines, and I feel like for the most part we've been as good or better than most teams when it comes to fuel mileage. And that's big in a lot of these races. Any advantage you can have, whether it's fuel mileage or power or fast race cars, I mean, you take anything you can get because you never know when you're going to need it. And from that standpoint, we knew we were as good as most or better. And from there, it was just Brad saving a little bit. My biggest concern at the end of the race was somebody else running out of fuel with 2 or 3 laps to go and the race get extended. So from that standpoint, that was where we were saving our fuel for. We had plenty of fuel to make the scheduled distance.
Come downstairs, Jim Utter, raise your hand, we'll get you a mic. Come over here to Bob after that. Here they come.
Jim Utter, Charlotte Observer. This is for Brad, but I'd like Paul to answer it after. How much of everything that took place from lap 1 of the first practice can be attributed a little bit to not bad Brad, but maybe a hacked off Brad?
Hacked off? What's that mean?
Just kind of, like ticked off, trying to maybe make up a little bit for whatever transpired. Is there anything of that? I'm not to say you had anything to prove, but just anything extra that came out of that whole incident that lasted through the weekend?
Well, I don't like being pushed around, Jim, and I felt like what happened on the racetrack, that someone was pushing me around, and I don't like that. I hate that. I can't stand for that. I won't stand for that. I can't stand it. And I don't know if that creates a level of desire that makes us better. I would look to Paul and say my race car was just fast this weekend and we had a lot more speed than we have had over the last few weeks. But I know that doesn't make a very good story. But I would probably say that's more the reality. This car was fast the second we unloaded it. It was fast. The primary car was before I knocked the wall down with it. The one corner I had in 1 and 2 was so good that when I got to 3 and 4 and somebody pulled up in front of me at half speed, I didn't want to lift. And I wasn't going to lift. So I think that's as big a part as anything else. And then from there, certainly there's always that little bit extra you get when you're fired up. A lot of people would say that's a bad thing in a race car. That adrenaline's the worst thing that can happen to you because you don't focus as well. Well, maybe it's not. I don't know. I ain't the one to answer that. But I do like the result. And whatever I got to do to get them, I'll get them. But I'm not going to be pushed around, and that's one code that I'm going to continue to live by. And that's how I felt like it shaped out at the beginning. And for whatever reason, it worked out the way it did at the end, and I'm not sure why. But it did, and I'm thankful for that.
Let's go over to Jim and then to Tom. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Paul. Paul Wolfe.
Yeah, for us, I feel like, as a team, we ran really well here last year. And I feel like we continue to show that when we come back to places for a second time as a team, we continue to get better. And so I think, whether it was in the primary car or the backup car, we tried to be smart about what we were doing and felt like we brought back a better race car. Maybe it's human nature that, when you're ticked off or whatever, you're able to find another level. And you definitely look at that sometimes. And there's definitely a lot of instances where I've seen Brad be able to find speed in the race car when he is ticked off. So whether he knows he's doing it or not, it just seems like it happens. So, but overall, I feel like we had a good race car, whether it was the primary or the backup, and we're definitely did a great job executing in the race tonight.
Over here to Bob, and then to Tom, and then to Steve.
Bob Parker, Sporting News for Brad, and if Paul wants to jump in, feel free. But Brad, on Thursday you said the new rules could be a game changer. Did you feel they changed the game tonight for you?
I felt like we were a lot closer speed-wise than we've been over the last few weeks. I don't know if that's it. Obviously, the 48 car was still very, very fast, and you can't take that away from them. It sounded like at times 88 and the 5 car were as well. 11 cars been fast all year. The same cars are still fast. It's just maybe the delta between what we were missing between them is a lot closer, and I feel good about that.
Let's go to Tom, Steve, and then Joe.
Tom Jensen, Speed.com, for both you guys. You lead the series in wins now, pretty much locked in the chase. Finished 5th last year. What do you got to do to win a championship this year?
Got to win races. I mean, Tony proved that last year. You got to win races. You don't back your way in the chase. Don't rest on your laurels. We've got to have fast cars when the chase starts with great reliability and great execution. It's going to take all 3, and those 3 are going to win races. Put the luck side, just throw that to the side because somebody dying out there? Jesus.
Look, it's a fan of yours.
Oh. Is that like the Dale Jr. fan at Phoenix?
Yeah.
I don't get them kind of fans. But I've read about them. If you haven't heard that story, I'll tell you later. What was I talking about?
Talk about winning.
My mind's in another place.
Winning races.
Oh, winning races. Winning championship. Oh, okay. Sorry, I got distracted. But I think you got to go out and win races. The luck stuff, man, everybody says luck stuff in the chase, but if you go out there and have good cars and win races and execute and do all those things, Tony proved that you'll win a championship. That's what it's going to take.
Let's go to Steve and then Joe.
Thanks, Tom.
Steve Richards of PRN. I have 2 questions. Follow up on Jim's question. Did you come to find out that something happened to Juan's car, or did he intentionally get into you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll let Juan answer that one. We never talk, so only he knows the answer to that.
And what happened to your steering wheel before the race, and that could have been a disaster?
It broke. I don't know what. I've never seen it happen before. It was a standard Momo wheel that you would get off a parts truck here at the racetrack or a typical vendor. Obviously, it had a lot of miles on it. I don't think it was the wheel that was on the car I wrecked. But I put it on before the race started, gave it a tug, and it broke in my hands. And if that would have happened on the racetrack today, we'd have been obviously not winning the race and potentially worse. So I'm glad I back-checked it before the race started, and glad that we were able to get a new one on the car.
All right, Joe.
Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. Brad, you seem like you never run out of energy. You're always bouncing around. But did the 3 events in a row in this heat take anything out of you? I mean,
Hell no.
Did you lose?
Do I look like I'm missing any energy?
Well, you don't look like you could lose any weight either. But did you? I mean, did you? Was it an issue at all for you?
Nah. It's good. I feel great.
Did you lose weight?
I don't know. I didn't weigh myself.
What do you weigh anyway?
Not enough.
So no issue at all.
Nah, I'm great, man. I feel good. I'm going to sleep in tomorrow, but I would have done that either way.
Other questions? Other questions? Bob?
Bob Parker, Sporting News. Brad, you lead the series with 3 wins, but you're 10th in points. Is that a good thing or bad thing? And I mean, is there concern?
So, like I said, I'm looking forward. I ain't looking back. If you're worried about being 10th in points, then you're looking back.
And so why are you 10th in points when you lead the series?
We're 10th in points because we had the reliability issues earlier in the year. You take out our 2 reliability issues, or 3. Was it 2 or 3? I can't remember what it was. If you remove those, then we're a legitimate top 5 team. And that's the way it's been all season long. So, we just got to remove those. Look at Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is not a 14th or 15th place. They're not a 14th or 15th place team, but they had 3 races where they blew up, and the penalty for those races is catastrophic. And so he doesn't deserve to be 15th in points or where he's at. He's a good driver, and that's a good team. So I think you got to look at that and say that's why we're where we're at. We lost anywhere from 50 to 70 points in those 2 races. Give us those points back, and we're 20 out of the lead. At best, and maybe 30 or 40 at worst. So, I feel like we're a good team, and we just had those issues. We can't have them in the chase. We had them at the early season. We've moved on, and we're looking forward.
Okay. Go ahead, press box.
Jeff Nickerson followed you in the trailer the other day. Did he give you an explanation that you felt was satisfactory as to what happened on the track? And have you talked to Montoya yet and cleared that up?
No, I haven't talked to him. I tried to, and he didn't want to talk, so we moved on. And Jeff said what he wanted to say to me, and I'll leave that between me and him.
Let's go over here, far left.
Brad, Adam Niemeyer with Fox in Cincinnati. I see you checking your phone. How many tweets are you getting and text messages?
I couldn't keep up, man. Y'all asking so many questions, I can't look down. A few. Do you want to look for me?
I'll leave it up to you.
Well, that's good. I like it a lot. I like how the fans engage us back. I mean, hell, that's what y'all are. You're the voice of the fans, right? Sometimes I got the way to go direct to them, and I like to do both. So I think that's fun.
Any other questions for Brad or Paul? I think we're clear upstairs. Congratulations, Brad.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys.
Win here tonight. Paul, congratulations.
Let's go take some more.
See you at Daytona.